I don't think the whole pronoun thing is that deep. I don't think it's that important to the grander scheme of things. I think a lot of it comes from good old-fashioned attention seeking, with roots in narcissism and privilege. That's what I really do think. And in the grander scheme of things, I don't think it's that important at all. Him and her, she and he, whatever. It's for toilet doors. It's for clothes. It's for sports teams. It's not that. It's just like a way to point something out, just to differentiate. Because men and women have different problems and different needs because of physicalities. And that's kind of all it's useful for. And for it to be used, and fads are fine, right? Fads are fine. Fads come and go. That's why they're called fads. For people to want to identify in a certain way, this happens all the time throughout decades. Throughout the decades, we see this all the time. But the fact is when you want to politicize it and turn it into modes of abuse, then where's it going to be? Identify as a goth, and you're going to get done for goth abuse, because that's what it boils down to, really. I'll explain why. So this is why pronouns are important to me by Jamie Windust. This year has seen several high-profile entertainers come out as non-binary, including Sam Smith and RuPaul's Drag Race UK's Davina De Campo. Right. Davina has spoken out about the use of personal pronouns with the need to be kind when encountering these issues, or as I like to say, a non-issue. We asked Jamie Windust, who I think is this thing here, a non-binary writer, public speaker and model, or basically someone who wears too many hats and none of them fit that well, to give us their perspective on what it means to identify as non-binary and to explain why language is important to them. Just call me they. I identify as non-binary, which is a gender identity that doesn't align itself with male or female and allows me to identify outside of my binary of gender. To be fair, if you were going to call anybody they, it'd be they. For me, this means being able to exist in a way that allows me to create my own rulebook and really express myself in ways that I want to, without the pressure of stereotypes or expectations on how I should be looking. Okay, see, this is where it's a fad thing, okay? This is sort of hyped up to be this great thing of sexual revolution, identity revolution, but it's not. Isn't this just the same as, do you ever see that video on the wolf kids that wore tails and ears and shit in America? They identified as wolves, because it was some weird fad and no one understood them. How's it any different? When you say, I'm going to call myself they, because it allows me to identify outside the binary of gender. For me, this means being able to exist in a way that allows me to create my own rulebook. It sounds like an attention seeker or a wannabe to me. Now look, I'm saying this through great experience. Like, for someone like me, or people similar to me, or worse than me, or better than me, there are people out there who don't quite fit in. Who I've never felt like a normal person. I've never felt like I can do normal things. I've always felt like an outsider in my own way. A boo-hoo-hoo for me. But the fact is that when you don't feel like you belong, or you feel a bit different, you want to belong, and you want to, you don't want to feel that different. But there are these people out there who are so normal, so beige, so 6 o'clock, that's a metaphor for straight, or a simile or something like that. Straight down the middle. You know what I'm saying? That they're tryhards, and they know how normal and regular they are, and they sort of go out of their way just to appear as weird and different as possible. And it's really cringy, and it's always like, yeah, you're really trying too hard. You're begging it way too much. You're not that person. You're not a weirdo. Like someone like this, who really is going very much out of their way to look fucking different. So different, in fact, that they look like a political dignitary that's arrived on the Star Trek Enterprise in the 60s. That's what they're going for. Do you know what I mean? This is some try hard shit. That's it. That's what I see. Hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. But I think I'm right. And these kind of people ruin everything for everybody. You know, you've got with the whole trans movement, and you've got people who can just say, "Oh, I am a girl," and don't go all to the fullest lengths that someone who properly transitions from male to female and female to male does. And I think that annoys a lot of those people. Like, well, you're kind of half in on this bullshit. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying it's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But this is why people don't like bisexuals. They're like, oh, you just make us all look stupid. You know, like lipstick lesbians. That used to be a thing. Oh, I've just got off with my best friend. I'm a lesbian. It's like, no, you're not. You're a dick. Just because you kissed your friend doesn't mean you're a lesbian. You know what I mean? And this whole they thing, it's so subjective. It's not even that important. Oh, I could be called they. I was like, all right, okay. It's not the same as being gay or being lesbian or having a female brain inside a male body. It's not the same, is it? Is it? It's not. You've just decided. Oh, I don't like the rules of society. Oh, aren't you all out there? Anarchy. Oh, good for you. It's like, I know a fad when I see one. I know a try hard when I see one. So look, for example, I use they, them pronouns, which means that when people address me or talk about me, they would say, oh, have you seen Jamie? They're not here yet. Or Jamie's gone shopping. They're definitely going to spend too much money. However, some people who are non-binary still use he, him, or she, her pronouns, which is completely valid. Brilliant. You see? So it's pointless. So what's the point? I'm non-binary. I identify as he and him. What? This is so this is pointless then. What is misgendering? Who knows? This has become so subjective at this point. Does it even matter? What's important to remember is nothing. No, but what it says is what's important to remember and recognize here is that you're ever in a situation where you don't know someone's pronouns, you can always, in a kind and appropriate manner, ask them. I'd rather be asked politely what pronouns I use than for someone to presume my pronouns. Who cares? And for them, then to continually use the wrong one. This is called misgendering, and is when someone assumes your gender and may use the wrong pronouns towards you. For example, if I were to be called he or she. Right, okay. And how's that going to affect you? Really? How is that going to affect you? It's only going to bother you because you've decided to create this persona and to be so out there and different, out there, and that this would offend you because you've decided for yourself. You know, this ain't Lady Gaga born this way, baby. Some people are okay with more than one pronoun. For example, some non-binary people use she, they pronouns, which means they're happy to be called either she, her, or they, them. Then it's pointless because I don't even know what it achieves. What does it even achieve? What benefits does it give you? And how does it hold you back in society? What, apart from, the opening of emails, I don't even, the first line of an email, to who it may concern. All right, that solves it, doesn't it? Many people believe that they, them pronouns are plural. However, the Merriam-Webster dictionary has just added they as a singular pronoun. So even though many of us knew it was correct anyway, we now have the dictionary support, which is brilliant. They also put bling in the dictionary. No one wanted that. YOLO's in the dictionary. Why are pronouns important? They're not. I don't think they are. A great way to think of it is if you were with someone a lot of the time and they continually got your name wrong. It's not the same. Some people struggle to understand why pronouns are so important. Yes. A great way to think of it is if you were with someone a lot of the time and they continually got your name wrong. That internal switch inside you that's like, that's not right. But also it's a little bit awkward sometimes to bring up. This is what it feels like for me when someone uses the wrong pronoun towards me. Yeah, but someone else gave you your fucking name. You just decided one day, oh, this is what I am because I don't want to fit into the constructs of society. It's like, because, oh, I can break out of society. When you think about it like that, it's like saying, oh no, I'm rejecting society's norms. It's like, I haven't heard that kind of rhetoric before. Many people in shops, restaurants, or general hospitality environments are unaware of the use of they, them pronouns. So for me and others who use they, them pronouns, being misgendered in this way is a regular occurrence. But you're not being misgendered because you decided this is what you are. It's not the. I don't think it's the same thing. When you just decide this is what I am, it's like, I am a God King. I am God King. So you refer to me as, your reverence or something, your eminence. So the Almighty. Can you call me Almighty? Oh, the Almighty's not here yet. Oh, they're probably out shopping, spending lots of money. Don't assume. You see, now I'm not saying this because the way they'll try and tarnish you is saying, oh, you're totally out of touch and you're backwards and all this alike and the rest of it. Saying, oh, you're from a different time, a bygone area, you don't understand. It's like, no, we've seen this go round and round in circles in so many different ways. This is just a new package of bullshit. This is no different to Marilyn Manson fans, painting their eyes and smoking bones because they're rejecting society's norms. Yeah, but they didn't ask politicians to make it official. One way is to use they, them pronouns. If you're unsure of someone's gender identity, instead of just assuming, you can also just politely ask. If you slip up and use the wrong pronoun, you can apologize swiftly before moving on with the correct pronoun. I'm not going to apologize. For what? Because you don't like it. There's plenty of things I don't like. People don't have to apologize for it all the time. There's haircuts that I don't like that really offend me. I'm not going to ask them to apologize. I'm not some sort of asshole. Pronouns might seem like small, simple things, because they are. But to me and many others in the beautiful trans and non-binary community, I don't think you should be bunched together, to be honest. They are incredibly powerful and meaningful. When someone makes the effort to use my preferred pronoun, see all this my preferred, I prefer, me, my. Instead of making assumptions about how I identify, it makes the world feel like a safer place. How? Can you explain yourself? For information on RuPaul's Drag Race UK, visit here. What's that got to do with anything? I guess this is someone on it or something. Where to find support? Now there's support. Do you see what I'm saying? It makes me sound like an asshole, but I'm not. You should not feel pressurized to label yourself. What? That's exactly what you've done. You've pressured yourself into this corner. Your gender identity or sexual orientation. If you do feel you'd like to come out as non-binary or trans, this is not coming out. Like, how insulting is that to coming out? I'm a subjective being that I've decided to be is the same as something that can still get you murdered. You're not going to come out, oh, I'm non-binary. People don't even know enough or care enough to kill you over it. So I don't think it doesn't have the same weight, does it? Mum, Dad, I'm non-binary. Well, that's nice, dear. What is that? Is that like being a new romantic? It's not the same. God, there's got to be like, where's homosexuality still illegal? Like Kenya, isn't Kenya isn't it still illegal in Kenya? I think it's Kenya. Well, there's plenty of countries where it is. Well, imagine someone from there reading this going, oh, if you feel you'd like to come out as non-binary, going, oh, so what happens to you when you come out? We get articles written about us on the BBC. Ah, well, I had my balls burnt off. Then I was flogged and spat on. And are safely able to, you can find like non-binary or trans. And you have like, surely if you're trans, you'd like properly trans, you'd be like, all right, can you calm down a bit, please, and stop bunching us together? They are safely able to. You can find support on how to start conversations and further advice at Stonewall. This is ridiculous, It is always good to speak to someone you trust about the issues you might be facing. This is like the biggest non-issue I've ever seen. Now, you might be able to throw that in my face and go, well, you're the one who has got an issue against it. No, I've got an issue against the mentality of it. If you want to be called they, them, whatever, that's up to you, because it is up to you. Because you decided. Some people don't decide on this sort of shit. Oh, I don't feel one way or the other. Well, how do you know? Have you been one of the others? Like, what is it? I feel I don't belong. Yeah, well then maybe you're a wannabe weirdo or you're an actual weirdo. And just live with being a weirdo. There's plenty of things that make us different. You know, if we're all going to be... So many people are so different. There's so many weirdos out there. Proud weirdos. And it's like, well, what are you? Do you want society just to fall down over you for your weird tendencies and your quirks? To make way for you? Like what? Like what do you want? Like, what do you actually want? What do you want? Is this a power trip? What is it? It can be hard talking about gender, sexuality, and relationships. So if you're experiencing difficulties, don't feel ashamed or different, and don't feel you have to hide away from it. You can also find help on a range of issues at Young Minds. It's just, look, like I said, each to their own, which is kind of the best way to be, but like, just come off it. I smell attention seeking. This is what this kind of thing is. It's like a non-issue. And to compare it with these other things, my. Isn't that a bit wrong to sort of say this is comparable to coming out as gay or trans? Isn't that wrong? Am I wrong on that? To think, oh, this is the same deal. You and me are going through the same struggles here. Like, no, we're not. Like, we're not, are we? It's like it's like you are so special and you have problems. You know, there's this wall in front of you because you are this thing that no one knows about nor cares that much about. But apparently it's an issue because you've created an issue. It's like people are creating their own struggles these days. Like they're actually creating their own struggles. It's amazing, isn't it? Because everything's so good. It doesn't make you realize like everything is kind of good. Like in the grand scheme of things are pretty good. And it's so good that you have to create an enemy. You have to create a problem for yourself. You know? There's people out there with genuine problems that are still shunned by society. There are people out there being killed for all sorts of stupid reasons across the world. But yet here we have this. As if this is an actual issue that needs to be dealt with. When there wasn't an issue in the fucking first place. A manufactured bogeyman of sorts. A manufactured evil that we must fight. Where have I heard this kind of thing before?